Hi everyone, this is Mike Fitz, your resident naturalist with Explore.org, the world's largest live nature cam network. I'm standing on a wildlife viewing platform at Brooks Falls in Katmai National Park, Alaska. We're getting ready for bear cam season. We're getting our webcams ready. So it'll be just maybe perhaps a few more days before the webcams go live, but I wanted to give you a bit of a preview of what you're going to be seeing at Brooks Falls once the cams do go live. Right now we're watching an adult female fishing the lip of Brooks Falls. This is a bear we know as number 128 Grazer. She's a mature adult female. She's had at least one litter of cubs. She doesn't have any cubs this year, but she's a very skilled angler on top of the waterfall. In fact, she's already caught 2 fish in about the last 10 minutes. She's also very patient in this spot. She knows if she waits, some fish will jump right to her feet or right to her mouth. And it's about 8 p.m. local time where I am. So plenty of daylight to enjoy these bears. She's been the only bear that I've seen here in about the past hour or so. It's not uncommon for a bear her age to be single for more than a season. She was very fat last year, and fatter females are more fecund, I guess you can say. They're likely to have larger litters and have litters more frequently than skinnier bears. But it's not uncommon for bears to go more than one season between litters. And again, I'm coming to you live from Brooks Falls in Katmai National Park, Alaska. This is the site of the world-famous bear cams on Explore.org. And those will be going to you live perhaps within a matter of days. I'm just giving you a preview of what you're going to see during that time. We're just seeing the beginning of the salmon run here. In Bristol Bay, this is part of the Bristol Bay watershed. Millions of fish will come to this area each year. And we're just seeing the first trickle of fish coming into this area. This is the Brooks Falls is a 6 to 8 foot high waterfall. It's a formidable barrier to salmon, and they can really only jump it successfully in a couple of places. In fact, really only one place consistently, and that's right below where the bear is standing. So the fish use the hydraulic in that plunge pool to help give them a boost to jump at Brooks Falls and to successfully jump over it. Of course, bears know that. They'll fish that plunge pool below Brooks Falls. We've nicknamed that the jacuzzi. And where she's standing on the lip of the waterfall, she knows that salmon will eventually jump right to her if she's patient enough. She was looking the other way right there, so you got to pay attention because she missed an opportunity. Last night at Brooks Falls, I was here and I watched her catch 8 salmon. Each one of these fish at this time of the year is probably about 4,500 calories. So she was taking in tens of thousands of calories last night, and that's a good start to the season. She has many months to get fat to prepare for winter hibernation. And a lot of their behavior is associated with finding food, because if you're a brown bear, you have to eat a year's worth of food in 6 months or less to survive. I'm going to give you a quick look downriver from where I'm standing. So this is Brooks River, again in Katmai National Park, Alaska. You're only able to see not even a half kilometer of river right here. But this is a very significant place for brown bears. I've seen over 30 brown bears within my line of sight just in this spot. And the peak of brown bear activity is the middle of July. So when Bear Cam goes live, keep on watching, because you just won't see bears over the course of a week, but you'll see bears here throughout the summer. And bears in Katmai are true omnivores, although their diet is really heavily loaded with salmon. In fact, the majority of their calories each year comes from fish. And that's different than brown bears and grizzly bears in other parts of the world. A grizzly bear in Glacier National Park, in fact, may have a diet that's 75, 80%, and sometimes 90% or more that is composed of vegetation. But bears here in Katmai have access to a lot of salmon. And of course, if you had to choose between, grazing on some grass, which they will do here, and eating salmon, if you can catch the salmon, the bears are going to choose the fish. And again, if you're just tuning in, my name is Mike Fitz, your resident naturalist with Explore.org, the world's largest live nature cam network. I'm standing on a wildlife viewing platform at Brooks Falls in Katmai National Park, Alaska. And I'm watching a female brown bear fishing for salmon. She's being very patient. And that's a hallmark of many bears that we see fishing at Brooks Falls. The salmon that you're seeing, the fish that you're seeing, are anadromous. So that means they are born in freshwater, they go to the ocean to grow large, and then they come back into freshwater to spawn, and then they die. So this is the last leg of their journey. In fact, Brooks Falls might be the last major obstacle before they reach their spawning site. So if they can get past Grazer here, they can get past the waterfall, they're not completely carefree the rest of the way. They still have some challenges and barriers to overcome. But this is one of the last major barriers for them. And that's about a 6-foot leap where the bear is standing right now. So it's definitely a major obstacle for salmon. So when I watch the salmon, I'm always amazed at their endurance and their tenacity. They don't quit until they either get eaten or they make it to their spawning site. This bear has eaten a couple of fish this evening. In fact, right before I started this broadcast, she did catch a fish. I was hoping I would be able to give you a sight of that. It looks like she's being quite patient, and none of the fish have quite jumped within her reach. Here at Explore.org and at Katmai National Park with the ranger staff, we are getting ready for Bear Cam season to go live. So make sure that you're tuning in to explore.org/bears to watch Brooks Falls when the cams go live. And that'll be very soon. We don't have a set date for that, but it could be within a few days, perhaps next week. Just depends on all the fine tuning that we need to do to get the webcams to work. So I invite you to go to explore.org, join the community, join the chat, learn all about the brown bears and salmon here at Katmai National Park. This is an amazing place. It's a very productive ecosystem. It's one of it's an ecosystem that has its potential fully realized. And of course, the salmon are a tremendous part of that. Brown bears, I think, fishing for salmon are maybe the most conspicuous example of the richness of this place. Last year here we had a record salmon run throughout the Bristol Bay area. In fact, it was more fish than had ever really been recorded historically. Over 60 million fish within the Bristol Bay watershed, and that encompasses a very large area, much more than Katmai National Park. This year the salmon run is projected to be smaller, but well within averages, and in fact still a large run expected this year. And again, this is just the beginning of millions of fish that will be swimming into these watersheds. Brooks River, where I am right now, can expect to see perhaps, a few 100,000 sockeye salmon moving through it. So that's a real feast for many of these bears. And yes, this is really live footage from Katmai National Park, Alaska. Brooks River, to be specific, and to be even more specific, this is world famous Brooks Falls. So if you've ever seen a photograph of a bear catching a fish at a waterfall, it's quite likely it was taken here. Well, and it looks like her patience paid off. So this is her third fish of the evening. Third fish probably in about 15, 20 minutes or so. It's easily 12,000 calories for her. At this time of the year, bears are likely to eat the whole fish. Once they start catching fish more consistently, especially when salmon are very, very abundant at the waterfall, they will eat only the fattiest parts of the fish, the skin, the brain, and the eggs. But right now, I think she's had so few fish so far this year that we can expect her to eat practically all of it. She's also not eating that fish very quickly either, so that indicates that she's not as hungry as she can be. I've seen bears, in fact, I saw her last night eat a fish in just over 60 seconds. And again, that's a 4 to 8 pound salmon that they're consuming in a very, very short period of time. It's amazing how much food they can put down their gullet in that short period of time. And I've seen the most I've ever seen a bear eat in a day was close to 40 salmon, maybe a little bit over 40 salmon. So an incredible amount of calories. I mean, a bear on that day was taking in over 100,000 calories. Well, as Grazer finishes up her meal, I do invite you to go to explore.org/bears and watch Bear Cam all summer. They're not live yet, but they're going to be live very, very soon. So I invite you, everybody, to go over there, watch. It's free. There's no advertisements. Explore.org just wants to share this wonderful place with everybody. And perhaps you'll get lucky. Perhaps you might see, another... you'll see many brown bears, of course, but maybe you'll end up seeing a wolf or a river otter. There's many other species of wildlife in this area. Again, my name is Mike Fitz with Explore.org. Thanks for joining me this evening. I'm going to end the broadcast now. But I'll be talking to you soon with other rangers. We'll be on Instagram. We'll be on Explore.org. So please stop by frequently and say hello and ask us questions. We'll do our best to try to answer. So have a good evening, and I'll talk to you soon.